You don't need any specific props for today. If you have a strap, fantastic, you can use it. If you don't have a strap, think about what you could use instead, whether it's a dressing gown cord or a tie or a towel or anything like that. You can try one of those. If you don't have a strap and if you don't have access to any of those things, then don't panic. I have got alternatives that I'll show you. You can still do all the same moves, but with no propping. You can also grab a blanket. The weather's turned a little bit chilly, hasn't it? So if you've got a blanket nearby, grab one. I'm going to leave my socks on today because my feet are a little bit chilly. I'm actually going to use a blanket behind the back of my head just to support my neck a little bit, but you can use it for that, or you can use it to cover you over if you're feeling chilly. It's entirely up to you. We are going to start with just a couple of rounds of breath of movement seated, just to, switch the brain off, just to really move into the body, really into the physical sensation. So find yourself your comfortable seat, wherever you want to be, and then just allowing the spine, just as we've done the last few sessions, to kind of float. So imagine that your vertebrae are floating in the spinal column. They are. There's fluid all around them. But I want you to really visualize it, almost like little blocks of foam floating in that tube, that hollow of the spinal column. So roll the shoulders down the back a little bit, feel the length through the neck, close the eyes, and take a deep breath in through the nose. And then sigh out through the mouth. Release as much as you need to. Breathing in through the nose. Sighing out through the mouth. We have made it to Friday. One more breath in through the nose. Sighing out through the mouth. Really focus on that release of the exhale. I'm going to bring a little bit of forward and backward movement now. So as you breathe in, roll the shoulders back, press the chest forward, lifting the face ever so slightly to the ceiling. Exhale, draw back through the belly button, around the spine, around the shoulders, drop the face down towards the floor. Inhale, stretching forward, waving the spine forward. Exhale, rounding back. Just easing into the muscles of the torso, breathing in, stretch it out. Exhale, round. So most of the work we're going to do today is going to be focused through the legs and the hips. So we don't want to be completely unbalanced. We don't want to completely ignore the ribs, the spine, the shoulders. Inhale once more forward. Exhale, take it back. You're going to breathe in, take the arms up above the head, really stretch and wiggle into those ribs. Remember back to week 1. Exhale, twist around to your right, tap the fingers down. Inhale, sweep up, again, little wiggle through the ribs. Exhale, down to the left. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale down. I'm going to come into one side bend, either side. Breathing in, right hand comes down, tip it over, stretch up through the left side. Inhale, up. Exhale, take it over to the other side. Again, really breathing in, stretch into the ribs. That feels good. Exhale, all the way back to center. Roll through the shoulders, wiggle the legs, and then coming down onto your back. So, as I said, I'm just going to use a blanket behind my head just to support my neck a little bit. So I'm going to add a little roll into it. I will tuck to the back of my neck. And it's entirely up to you whether you want to do it. Sometimes you come to lay on your back and you just can't quite figure out what's niggling you, what's ailing you, and it might be just that you want a little support behind the head to lift it up so it's more in line. Sometimes if you're particularly tight through the shoulders, it feels like the head is dropping too far back and it can strain through the neck. So anyway, have a wiggle, spread yourself down. Notice how good it feels to lay on a solid floor as opposed to a bed or a sofa or anything like that. Take the feet a little bit wider and we're just going to sway the knees, that kind of windshield wiper action. Don't have to drop the knees all the way down, but it's giving you a chance to switch your focus down into the hips, into the lower body. That little sway, just lovely through the lower back. Okay, you're going to bring both of the knees in towards the chest. And again, it's your choice whether you want to hug the front of the knees or the back of the knees. But continue that kind of rocking action. So now the attention comes much more down into the sacrum, back of the pelvis, right down into the lower back. Hug the knees in tighter, you can push them away. You know, just massaging out wherever it feels like you need to give your body some attention. Okay, we're going to bring both of the hands to the right knee. Let the left foot come down. I'm going to keep the knee bent just for the time being. And then using the breath, as you breathe in, belly fills, you'll feel the knee float away. And then as you exhale, you can squeeze that right knee in just a little bit tighter. Inhale, make sure the breath's coming right down into the belly. Let the knee float away. Exhale, squeezing it in. So just working into some of that deeper muscle through the hip, through the back of the glutes. Do one more, breathing in. Exhale, squeezing it in tight. And then I want you to hold it there, but try and release as much effort as you can. So relax the jaws, relax the shoulders. Holding still here. You can close the eyes if you want to. Relax the belly. Exhale. And if your mind is prone to drifting, which is, normal, perfectly acceptable, find something about this pose that really catches your attention. So for me, it's that kind of tight flex of the hip, right deep into the hip bone almost. That's what's catching my attention. And it's not because it's uncomfortable, it's just because it's a different sensation. And I'm quite interested. I'm doing an anatomy course at the moment, so I'm extra interested in what's going on there. What's going on deep in the bone, all of those muscles, which are tightening, which are releasing. You don't have to know the anatomy, you don't have to know the specific muscles, but just seeing if you can feel what's going on in the hip there. Okay, if you've got a strap, I want you to grab it now. You're going to loop it around the ball of your foot. If you haven't got a strap, you're just going to hold on to the back of the leg. So as you breathe in, stretching that right leg up towards the ceiling. So yeah, if you're not working with a strap, you're going to hold on either to the thigh or to the calf, whatever feels most comfortable. If you are working with that strap, make sure you bring the elbows down towards the mat so that you've not got any effort in the arms. Left leg stays bent for the time being. Breathing in, really stretch up as much as you can, pressing into that strap, stretching the foot up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, soften a little, bend the knee ever so slightly, tiny little relax through the ankle, relax the foot. And we're going to hold it here for just about 3 breaths. Close the eyes, keep the chin tucking down towards the chest. And again, just as we did with the knee into the chest, have a think about where you feel this. Again, not about where it is uncomfortable, where it's tight, just imagining what muscles you can feel. So for me, this is the hamstrings, those muscles at the back of the leg. I've been running quite a bit lately and I have been neglecting my stretches, so my hamstrings are feeling really tight. And all of these poses as well, you can hold them for as long as you want to. So if it feels particularly beneficial to you, you want to hold it for 5 minutes, carry on, be my guest. Okay, from here, we're going to open out into the hip a little bit. So if you're not working with a strap, you're going to bend the knee, grab a hold of the knee and let the leg fall open to the side. If you are working with a strap, both of the ends of the strap are going to come to your right hand. Your left hand is going to come down onto your left hip, elbow stays on the floor, and you're going to slowly let that right leg drop out to the side. So the hands, that strap, you're holding the leg up in place. You're not letting it drop too far down. Just gentle, maybe not. Stretch out through the inner thigh into the groin, all the way down into those muscles on the inside of the leg. Take a deep breath in, really kick out into the foot, stretching deeply. And then as you exhale, soften again, soften the knee, soften the ankle, let the leg get a little bit heavy. That left foot, left leg are anchoring themselves down onto the mat. They're preventing you from rolling over onto that right side too much. And the hand on the left hip is just reminding you to keep the hip or the pelvis as square as you can, as balanced as you can. So probably feeling quite a lot of effort in the right arm, the right wrist. You feel that leg getting heavier and heavier. You're going to hold it for one more breath. And then slowly use the inhale, squeeze the thighs back together. Again, if you're not working with the strap, you're going to swap the hands and just draw the knee across the center line. If you are working with the strap, you're going to swap the strap into the left hand. Keep the leg straight, and you're not taking it all the way into twist, you're just crossing over the midline, so past the center of the body, and you'll start to feel possibly a stretch up the outside of that right leg now. Right hand is down by your side, and we're going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. So it's just that counter stretch, having opened out stretch through the inner thigh. We bring the leg across the body, we bring the stretch into the outer thigh, around sort of all the way down through this muscle here, down into the glute, kind of just relaxing through the inner hip a little bit more. And then back to center. Relax, bring the knee into the chest if it's not there already. Left knee comes in to join it, little rock from side to side. And then we're going to finish this side with a twist. So both knees are going to drop over to your right. Stack them or leave a little gap between them if you want to. And then it's up to you. You can either stay here with the hand resting on the rib cage, or if it feels okay, if it's accessible, you can start to let the left shoulder drop down towards the mat, maybe take the left arm out. And then hold here for a few breaths. So I always like to finish my classes with a twist. Just that last little stimulus through the whole of the spinal column, that kind of balancing, equalizing feeling as you stimulate all of the nerves. And we're going to inhale, come back to center. And a little rock from side to side. We're going to work the same thing on the opposite side. So left knee stays in, right foot comes down onto the mat. Relax the shoulders, adjust the body. Make sure that you are comfortable. And then moving with the breath. Inhale, knee drifts away. Exhale, squeezing it in a little bit tighter. So again, none of these movements need to be big. Sometimes when I'm teaching, I'm kind of exaggerating the movement so that you can really see what we're trying to achieve. But if it feels good to you to just kind of pulse it like a millimeter even, then work with that. It's Friday. We've put all of the effort into this week. It's time to relax. Slowly drawing that left knee in and then holding it there. Again, noticing what about this pose, this stretch is interesting to you. Not uncomfortable, not unpleasant, but interesting. Hold it here, just a couple more breaths. And then either, again, using the arms, you'll hold onto the back of the leg or grabbing that strap. Looping it over the ball of the foot, stretching the leg up. Bring the elbows down onto the mat. Use the inhale, really lengthen the leg up as much as you can. And then exhale, soften a little, soften the knee, soften the ankle. And to distract yourself from that big stretch through the hamstring, the back of the leg, notice perhaps how different it feels on your left and right. So if you've been practicing with me for a while, you will know, you'll have heard me mention, my left side is significantly tighter than my right side. I don't know why that is. I've never had any kind of x-rays or anything. And I don't know that I need to know why that is. I know that it is. So whenever I come to do my poses or my physical practice, I know that I won't be able to take them as deep on the left side, and it feels different on the left side. So this one, if I wasn't teaching, I'd definitely be concentrating and gritting my teeth a little bit more for. Okay, taking both of the ends of the strap into the left hand, or again, bending the knee, holding the knee with the left hand. Right hand comes down onto the right hip, and then slowly let that left leg drop open. Make sure that the left elbow is resting on the floor and that the strap is doing the heavy lifting here. So it's a relatively active pose, but you've got that ability to relax a little bit more because you're laying on your back. Make sure you put some space around you. I should have said that before we started. And paying attention to that stretch through the inner thigh, all the way up. I can feel this one through the inside of the knee today. Okay, inhale back to center. Swapping the hands over and then bringing that line just past the midline. So, that leg just past the midline. Doesn't need to come all the way over, just until you start to be aware of a stretch on the outside of the left thigh. Two more breaths here. Slowly bringing it back to center. Release the strap. Bring the left knee into the chest. Bring the right knee in to join it. Little wiggle. And then we're going to take that twist over to the left side. So both knees coming down to the left, stacking them or separating them. Maybe put a pillow between the knees if it feels more comfortable. Right arm comes out to where it feels comfortable. And then pausing here. Again, that twist working its way up the spine from tail to crown. Each vertebra ever so slightly more twisted, squeezing and massaging all of those nerves that come out through the spine. Just trying to create a sense of balance, equilibrium. Okay, inhale, gently bringing everything back to the center, knees in towards the chest. And then bringing the feet down, take a really big stretch. Lengthen the arms, lengthen the legs, stretch yourself out, make yourself as long as you can. And then exhale, leave the hands and feet where they are. We're going to do that once more. Big stretch, inhale, lengthening yourself out as much as you can. Exhale, relax. Now we're going to come into Shavasana, so that final relaxation, just for a couple of minutes, not for too long. Bringing the feet about hip width, maybe slightly wider, let the toes drop open. Arms fall open at your sides, unless the floor is particularly cold and you'd rather have them up on your belly. Palms towards the ceiling, shoulders drawing away from the ears. Head feels like it's just delicately balanced on that bony ridge at the back of the skull. Close the eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale, sigh out through the mouth. Letting go of your week. Breathing in through the nose. Exhale, letting go maybe of the last 4 weeks. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, just letting go. Trying really hard now to let go of the negative thoughts and feelings, that sense of unfairness or injustice. And trying to switch your focus to think about the positives, however small they might be, the little things that bring you joy. I was talking to someone the other day and it was the scent of toast. And your toast cooking in the morning. Or it might be your favorite blanket. It might be getting out for a walk in the crisp weather. Whatever it is, find it and allow it to kind of plant itself right in the middle of your chest and to spread that warm glow, that feeling that we get when we find something that truly brings us joy. And the more you focus on it, the more that glow can spread out through the body. Kind of pulsing out like a warm light. Know that it's always there, and on those days when the negative feels overwhelming, that light, whilst it might be significantly dimmed, is still there, that tiny little seed in the middle of your chest. And that by taking those 3 deep breaths we took at the start of this Shavasana, you can bring your focus to that tiny spark of joy and sit with it for as long as you need. I'm going to rest here for 2 more breaths. If you have the time, if you feel the urge, then please stay here for as long as serves you. If you're ready to finish up your practice, check in one last time with that little light, that little seed at the center of the chest. And then slowly expand your awareness out to notice the fingers and toes. Give them a little wiggle, flex and a point. Start to roll the wrists and the ankles, the shoulders. Start to bring the body back into movement. Finishing up with that big stretch. Arms up above the head. Lengthen the fingers, lengthen the toes. Exhale, relax. Rolling over onto your side. Giving yourself a moment to come back into the room. And then gently pushing yourself up to seated all the way up. Thank you so much for joining me for these lockdown sessions. I hope that they've given you a little distraction, a little bit of movement, a little bit of an insight on how to build a home yoga practice. We're going to close with one last breath together. Inhale, arms up above the head. Palms touch, exhale, bring them down through and into the center of your chest. Namaste.